Hello everyone, in this video we'll see gear train design using Autodesk Inventor. First we'll open the software. As gear train design is an assembly, we'll open new assembly. First of all, we need to set the units. Go to tools menu, document settings, select units. Now set length to millimeter and mass to kilogram. Now click apply, close. Now we'll see design of spur gears. Go to design menu. In power transmission, select spur gear. Now we need to save the file. We'll save it in the desktop as assembly1. We can see the gear ratio as 2 and the module as 5 mm. So the center distance will be 150. The number of teeth on the first gear is 20 and the second gear is 40. And the face width of both the gears is 50 mm. We require a power transmission of 2.5 kilowatts at 150 rpm. Now click OK. Again OK. Now the spur gears are designed as per our requirements. Now we need to design the gear shafts. In power transmission, select shaft. Now we need to set the dimensions of the required shaft. First we are going to set the required dimensions of the shaft for bigger gear. Now click OK. Again OK. And the shaft required for the bigger gear is created. Using constraint command in assemble section, we are going to join the gears. The first selection should be the axis of the shaft and the second selection should be the axis of the bigger gear. We'll select the axis of the bigger gear in the model menu. uh, Select spur gears, origin, spur gear 2:1, z axis. Now the axis of both the shaft and the gear are coincided. Now we need to place the shaft correctly. First we need to select the circular surface of the shaft, and the second selection should be the face of the gear. We will give an offset of 30 mm. Click apply. Now we will design the shaft of the second gear. Now we'll change the hub diameter from 100 to 50 mm. Click OK. Here the longer ends of both the shafts should be in opposite direction. Now again, using constraint command, we will join the shaft and the gear. Select the axis of the shaft and the axis of the smaller gear. We'll select the axis of the smaller gear in model menu. Now we need to align the shaft correctly. The first selection should be the cylindrical surface of the shaft, and the face, second selection will be the face of the gear. We'll set an offset of 30 mm, and the design of shafts is completed. Now we'll see design of keys. In design section, select key. The first reference should be cylindrical surface of the hub. The second reference should be circular face of the hub, and the third one should be the face of the gear. Now we can see the key is designed. We can increase the length of the key. And we can also move the key depending on our requirement linearly, and we can also rotate the key over the hub. After selecting the required position, click OK. Again OK. Now we can see the key is created. Now we will design the key for the another gear. The first reference will be the cylindrical surface of the hub. Next one will be the circular face, and the third one will be the face of the gear. Here we can see the key is designed. We can extend the key beyond the gear over the hub. Click OK. Again OK. Now we can see the key of the second gear is also designed, and the design of the keys is completed. Next one is design of the bearings. In power transmission, select option bearing. The first one will be the cylindrical surface of the shaft. Next one will be the circular face of the shaft. We'll set the dimensions of the bearing from 18 to 22. In all bearings, select JISB B1521 bearing. Select the bearing. Click OK. Now place the bearing on the shaft. Now click OK. Now we will copy it and create multiple bearings for the remaining ends of the shaft. Now we will place the bearings over the shaft using constraint command. The first selection should be the circular face of the bearing. The second selection will be the circular face of the shaft. Then click apply. Now we will join the remaining two bearings using the constraint command. Now the bearings are placed successfully. Now we will design the bearing housing. As it is a new part, we'll go to File, New, Part. Now we need to set the units in this part also. Now go to Sketch, start a 2D sketch. We need to select the YZ plane. Now select rectangle. Just draw a random rectangle. Now we'll coincide one of the side of the rectangle to the y-axis. Now we'll set the dimensions of the rectangle. The length of the rectangle should be 500 mm. And we need to set the width of the rectangle as 200 mm. Now we'll place circles over one side of the rectangle. Set the dimensions of the circle as 75 mm. As we have seen the outer diameter of the bearings as 75 mm. We'll set the distance between two circles as 150 mm, as the center distance between the two gears is 150 mm. Now we'll place one circle from one end as 175 mm. Now we need to trim the unnecessary portions of the part. Now go to 3D model, select extrude. We will extrude this part symmetrically in both the directions. Set the distance as 20 mm. Now we will fillet the edges of the part. Select the fillet radius as 25 mm. Now select the edge. Click apply. Now we will fillet the other edge also. Now the required bearing house is ready. Now we will assemble the bearing housing to gear train. First we need to import the bearing housing. Select place command in assemble section. We have saved it as part. We require 2 bearing housings, so we are copying 2 bearing housings. Now we will rotate the bearing housing as per the required position. Now using constraint command, we will place the bearings over the bearing housing. The first selection should be the face of the bearing housing. And the second selection will be the face of the bearing. Now we will join the other bearing on this side using constraint command. Similarly, we will join the other housing on the other side using constraint command. Now we have placed the housings over the bearings. Now the bearing housing should be grounded, and the grounded option should be disabled for the gears, and flexible should be enabled. Now we'll set the colors to the different parts. We'll set foil gold to the shafts. Right click and assign to selection. Now select the gears. Now we will see the working of the gear train. As I am rotating the shaft of the smaller gear, the smaller gear rotates and the bigger gear is also rotating. Thank you very much.